He was a classic without a doubt. You brought up Mike Greenberg, and the hot topic, or one of the hot topics this last week, was sports media members wearing their colors. You guys got some thoughts on that?
I'd be curious where we all stand, because I think this is definitely a generational type of thing. It's definitely changed. Greenberg being one of the big ones, does not hide his Jets fandom at all on his show. And before I give my thought, I'm curious what you guys think. I have a feeling, maybe not. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'll jump in, because Jared, I'm sure, will jump on whatever thought I have anyway. As far as a national broadcaster, I understand Greeny's a Jet fan, but it's a bit much to me. A bit, he's got to do his professional job. I don't give a damn if he's a Jets fan. Now, Kurt Herbstreit, on the other hand, he's a Buckeye, right? But you never would know it when he's doing a broadcast. He seems to be pretty straight down the middle. Everybody has their favorite teams, but I just don't think it belongs personally in a top of the line professional setting myself. I mean, Greeny can make a comment or two about it. That's fine, but it's overboard to me. That's just my thought on that.
Yeah, I guess you were right. I'm gonna be what exactly was the verbiage you use? I'm gonna shit on anything you say or something.
Pretty much.
No, unless you're a national play-by-play guy like a Joe Buck, like you said, Herbstreit. No, nobody wants to listen to a Michigan Ohio State game where Herbstreit's just loving everything Ohio State's doing. Right. No. Mike Greenberg, that's like the best segments every week. He just went on Pat McAfee's show a week or two ago, and it was over the New York Knicks. I was blanking. Why would they be talking about the Jets? The New York Knicks, when the Pacers knocked them out of the playoffs. It's like a great segment. Pat McAfee's an Indiana Pacers fan. Mike Greenberg is a Jets fan. That's like awesome. And the Jets are such a hot topic now with Aaron Rodgers. Greeny is the Jets guy. That if a big thing happens with the Jets and Greeny's not giving you his thoughts on it, you're like, what's wrong with Greeny? That's what you go to Greeny for, almost. Outside of, obviously, Get Up's a great show and he's a great host. And Mike and Mike way back in the day. That's who he is. I remember Michael Wilbon, and I thought this was almost like bizarre. It's like, who thinks this way? This is like the old 1940s like thinking. Michael Wilbon, I remember 2016, the Chicago Cubs were having that miraculous run. And they won the World Series, and he went to a game as a fan, and I think it was when they won the World Series. And the producer of, I don't know what it would have been, Sports Center at Night or whatever the segment would have been, basically wanted him to come on the show. And Wilbon had a back and forth. Basically, was like, I'm a fan. I'm wearing a Cubs jersey. I'm wearing an Ernie Banks jersey. I can't do that. That's not what the fans want. It's no, actually, the fans do want to hear your perspective as a Cubs fan. Keep the Ernie Banks jersey on. Let's come to you. Let's do a segment. And it ended up being great. Everybody wants that. I'm shocked to actually hear you say that, Ted, that you don't like that. I mean, for Greeny, talk show host, what?
You're actually talking me into maybe rethinking a little bit. There is a difference between a national broadcast doing the play-by-play in color of an actual game, which I give Herbstreit credit, but I kind of get what you're saying. Being a talk show host, it's probably is. Maybe I was a little bit too harsh on that. So I'll change my mind a little bit on that. You talked me out of it.
All right.
I think it's definitely one of those things where there can be extremes, because again, this isn't national, but people listening to the Corona football run to Ford Field,
right? Ted
Fattel, there's no one else you want to hear calling that game because of your love and everything for Golden Alumni for Corona. I mean, so that's perfect. You're not gonna be unfair. You're still gonna call a professional or a good game, but everyone knows you're a Corona guy. Right. And so that's who you want to hear call those games. But right, when it's the big noon game on Fox, Michigan, Ohio State, yes, everyone knows Gus Johnson has his ties to Michigan, and Joel Klatt, loved Jim Harbaugh and everything. But they still, at least to me, were pretty down the middle. I mean, they wouldn't lean Michigan. Obviously, when Michigan was winning, they're going to, obviously call the game in the manner that they do because Michigan's dominating whoever they're playing. But I think there's an extreme either way. The one way that Greeny maybe sometimes might show it a little bit, and I've talked to some people who work on the show, he makes sure the Jets get in every A segment of the show. And sometimes that's where it's like, all right, after the Aaron Rodgers injury, when they're clearly out of the playoffs, maybe that's where we don't need to talk about the Jets anymore. Let's maybe talk about the Lions, because the Lions are
Right.
making a run. You know, that's maybe where it can like affect things, where it's like, all right, we know you're a Jets fan, but we've got nothing to talk about. Zach Wilson is doing nothing for this show right now. So that's maybe where it could.
But also, and I think we can relate to this, is like our best segments are when we're talking Detroit Lions, Michigan football.
Right.
Like, I mean, when we talk about NBA playoffs, it's a happening thing, man. It's like, if your heart's not really into it, we are somewhat, but if you care about something, that's what makes the content good.
Yeah.
So you want to hear Greeny talk about the Jets, because him going crazy about the Jets is better than talk about Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs for the 10th time.
Yeah.
Right.
That's I love hearing about it. You want guys who care, and that's why it's always fun. Like hearing, Barstool has like the Chicago offices. Like when they talk about Bears content, it's like when something bad happens to the Bears, you go to them and you watch it.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with it at all. I think it's outdated thinking. Whatever guys like, whatever they're a fan of, that's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember thinking that too, like when starting at ESPN, when people would, we were told that. We were told, yeah, we know we're all fans, but we don't want you to wear, we had to dress like semi-formal or whatever. Everything, you had to have a collar every day. And part of it was like, you don't want to wear fan clothes, because if you end up, some of the sets, you could end up on TV. And they're like, we don't want you showing up on TV with a Tigers logo on, because then people might be like, oh, ESPN's biased towards the Tigers. And I understood that, but I also thought, I think most people probably get that a lot of the people who work at ESPN are sports fans. Like, so it's okay. Right. If you got a job at ESPN as a, Sports Center anchor, you probably had some sort of sports affiliation at some point in your life. So yes, as long as you don't let that like influence how you report on things, I'm kind of with you, Jared. It is like, if Mike Wilbon, when the Cubs are winning the World Series, yeah, I want to hear what he thinks about it.
Yeah.
Scott Van Pelt, Maryland guy. If Maryland ever won national title, I'd want to hear Scott Van Pelt about Maryland.
Yep. No, that makes sense. And, and you got to just definitely break it into different categories. You brought up the high school broadcasting. It's the same way college broadcast. If you're a Michigan football broadcaster, I go all the way back to you for, my God, you're rooting for that team. That's definitely that goes along with every college program out there. They're all homers. You listen to Sirius satellite radio when you're on the road, and sometimes I'll tune into like the Buckeye broadcasters. They're so homer, it's unbelievable, just like every other college. So I'm all good with that. And again, I think I've come around to your guys' way of thinking here, that it's okay to have some fandom, but it can go overboard. That's the only comment I'll make there.
Yeah, like with anything, there's extremes always. Yep. There's extremes, and sometimes it's taken that way. But I'm also on the side of like, I don't understand why. I think I've probably said this on here before. Unless you're reporting on the presidential election or an obituary, I don't understand why people on TV, whether it's sports or news, have to be in like full on tuxedo suits and all that. Like sometimes I'm like, we're just talking about sports. Or when you see people, the local news reporter that's out at like a cat fashion show or something like that, and they're still in like a suit reporting the news, it's like, all right, what are we doing here? Like, we're taking this a little too serious. But
yeah, do we agree that at the national level we don't want to see cheerleaders? Like, you watch somebody like Reggie Miller doing a Pacer game, he's not flat out rooting for the Pacers while he's doing his color commentary. And there's all other former players that are part of broadcast, they don't really blatantly put it out there, which I think is probably a good practice, because you're talking to the other team's fans too.
Yeah, I would say that's fair. Okay. Again, but like if the Pacers won the title, I would expect Reggie Miller to be out on the floor hugging everyone and stuff like that. So
I'd be okay with that.